So you want to know about the different types of information resources. Traditionally, information has been organized in different formats, usually as a result of the time it took to gather and publish the information. For example, the purpose of news reporting is to inform the public about the basic facts of an event. This information needs to be disseminated quickly, so it is published daily in print, online, on broadcast television, and radio media. More in-depth treatment of information takes longer to research, write, and publish, and traditionally was published in scholarly journals and books. Today, information is still published in traditional formats as well as in newly evolving formats on the Internet. These can include electronic journals, books, news websites, blogs, Twitter, and Facebook. The coexistence of all of these information formats is messy and chaotic. The process for finding relevant information is not always clear. Social media is a quickly rising star in the landscape of information gathering. Facebook updates, tweets, and blogs have made information creators of us all, and have a strong influence not just on how we communicate with each other, but also on how we learn about current events or discover items of interest. Anyone can create or contribute to social media, and nothing that's said is checked for accuracy before it's posted for the world to see. Also, social media will generally be among the first to cover a big news story because it can be published immediately. And because it's written in casual language, it can usually be easily understood by anyone. While social media is usually first to cover a big news story, news media write an article or a report after more information has been gathered. News articles are written by journalists who either report on an event they have witnessed firsthand or after making contact with those more directly involved. The focus is on information that is of immediate interest to the public, and these articles are written in a way that a general audience will be able to understand. These articles go through a fact-checking process, but when a story is big and the goal is to inform readers of urgent or timely information, inaccuracies may occur. While news articles and social media tend to concentrate on what happened, how it happened, who it happened to, and where it happened, magazine articles are more about understanding why something happened, usually with the benefit of at least a little hindsight. Writers of magazine articles also fall into the journalist category and rely heavily on investigation and interviews for research. Fact-checking in magazine articles tends to be more accurate. That's because magazines publish less frequently than news outlets and have more time to get facts right. Depending on the focus of the magazine, articles may cover current events or just items of general interest to the intended audience. The language may be more emotional or dramatic than the factual tone of news articles, but the articles are written at a similar reading level so as to appeal to the widest audience possible. A magazine article is considered a popular source rather than a scholarly one, which gives it less weight in a research context but doesn't take away the value completely. Scholarly articles generally describe formal research studies or experiments conducted to provide new insight on a topic, rather than reporting current events or items of general interest. They are written by and for experts in a field, and the author is usually writing about research that they themselves have conducted. You may have heard the term peer review in relation to scholarly articles. This means that before an article is published, it undergoes a review process in order to confirm that the information is accurate and the research it discusses is valid. This process adds a level of credibility to the article that you would not find in a magazine or news article. One drawback to scholarly articles is the length of time it takes for them to get published. It takes time for the author to thoroughly write up the information, check it for accuracy, submit it to the journal publisher, have them send it for peer review, and so on. Scholarly articles often contain references to other scholarly articles, showing that the authors are building upon previous knowledge. Newspapers and magazines do not generally have references. Scholarly articles tend to be long and feature specialized language that is not easily understood by someone who does not already have some level of expertise on the topic. Though they may not be easy to use, they carry a lot of weight in a research context, especially if you are working in a field related to science or technology. These sources will give you information to build on in your own original research. A topic can be covered in more depth in a book than in most other types of sources. Also, the conventional wisdom for books is that anyone can write one, but only the best ones get published. This is becoming less true, as books are published in a wider variety of formats and via a wider variety of venues than in previous eras, which is something to be aware of when using a book for research purposes. For now, the editing process for formally published books is still in place, and research topics like literature and history continue to be published primarily in this format. Scholarly books, similar to scholarly articles, are usually written by experts on the topic, use fact-checking, include references, and are written for an audience who is already familiar with the topic. Some scholarly books have multiple authors, with an editor of the overall book and a different author for each chapter, each covering a different aspect of the book's main topic. Now you know about the different types of information resources. If you still have questions, feel free to contact NU Library for assistance.